Do you want to successfully complete the WGU C723 Objective Assessment for Quantitative Analysis for Business course? Then, you're in the right place. Our website provides a list of questions and answers, with an emphasis on preparing for your success in the Quantitative Analysis for Business C723 course. In this video, we will cover questions from decision methods, quantitative techniques, statistical concepts, probability and risk, and project tools. So, let's get started. 1. Which of the following tools helps visualize important aspects of a problem by showing decisions, alternatives, actions, and outcomes in a tree-like structure? A. Payoff table. B. Fishbone diagram. C. Decision tree. D. Gantt chart. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Decision tree. Explanation. A decision tree graphically represents decisions and their possible consequences, resembling a tree structure with branches for choices and outcomes, aiding in complex decision-making. 2. If a business wants to quantify both costs and benefits associated with different solutions to a problem, which method would be most appropriate? A. Decision tree. B. Payoff table. C. Network analysis. D. Linear programming. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Payoff table. Explanation. A payoff table organizes costs and benefits of each solution alternative, providing a structured approach to decision-making by comparing outcomes side by side. 3. Which analysis method helps managers make strategic decisions by identifying patterns, trends, and relationships within data, whether large or small? A. Qualitative analysis. B. Quantitative analysis. C. Fishbone diagram. D. Network analysis. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Quantitative analysis. Explanation. Quantitative analysis uses numerical methods to analyze data, allowing managers to identify patterns and make informed, statistically supported decisions. 4. Which of the following data types is typically obtained through observation or testing and is measurable? A. Subjective data. B. Objective data. C. Qualitative data. D. Indirect data. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Objective data. Explanation. Objective data is measurable and arises from direct observation or testing, commonly used in fields like sales and logistics. 5. Which method in quantitative analysis is known for representing a business situation with a mathematical model to facilitate inferences about the data? A. Cost-benefit analysis. B. Mathematical modeling. C. Statistical inference. D. Fishbone diagram. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Mathematical modeling. Explanation. Mathematical modeling creates a structured representation of a business problem, enabling managers to make informed decisions by interpreting the data systematically. 6. Which formula represents total revenue in terms of price and quantity sold? A. R equals X plus Q. B. R equals X multiplied by Q. C. R equals X minus Q. D. R equals Q divided by X. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. R equals X multiplied by Q. Explanation. Total revenue, R, is calculated by multiplying the price per unit, X, by the quantity sold, Q, giving a direct measure of income generated. 7. In the quantitative analysis process, which step follows developing the mathematical model? A. Define the problem. B. Implement the solution. C. Prepare and input data. D. Test the solution. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Prepare and input data. Explanation. After developing a mathematical model, data must be prepared and input to test its effectiveness in solving the defined problem. 8. Which diagram is often used to analyze cause and effect relationships by plotting various possible causes for a problem? A. Gantt chart. B. Fishbone diagram. C. Scatter diagram. D. Network diagram. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Fishbone diagram. Explanation. A fishbone diagram helps identify and categorize potential causes of a problem, often used in quality management to pinpoint issues. 9. When analyzing the relationship between two variables by plotting them on a graph, which diagram is most commonly used? A. Trend diagram. B. Network diagram. C. Fishbone diagram. D. Scatter diagram. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. Scatter diagram. Explanation. Scatter diagrams show the relationship between two variables, allowing analysts to observe trends or correlations by plotting paired data points. 10. If a trend line in a scatter plot moves downward as one progresses from left to right, what does this indicate about the correlation between the two variables? A. Positive correlation. B. Negative correlation. C. No correlation. D. Random correlation. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Negative correlation. Explanation. A downward trend line signifies a negative correlation, where one variable decreases as the other increases. 11. What is the primary purpose of forecasting in business? A. To assess past performance. B. To make adjustments based on future expectations. C. To evaluate current decisions. D. To record historical data. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. To make adjustments based on future expectations. Explanation. Forecasting helps businesses anticipate changes, allowing them to adapt proactively to potential future conditions for better outcomes. 12. Which statistical tool is used to summarize, describe, and interpret data to find patterns? A. Inferential statistics. B. Descriptive statistics. C. Decision tree analysis. D. Network analysis. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Descriptive statistics. Explanation. Descriptive statistics provides summaries of data, helping identify trends and patterns by interpreting existing data meaningfully. 13. Which of the following statements describes the goal of inferential statistics? A. To categorize data. B. To make generalizations about a population. C. To establish a cause and effect relationship. D. To display data visually. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. To make generalizations about a population. Explanation. Inferential statistics allows analysts to draw conclusions about a larger population based on a sample, using estimations and hypothesis testing. 14. When collecting evidence in quantitative analysis, the researcher's goal is to reject which type of hypothesis? A. Alternative hypothesis. B. Null hypothesis. C. Independent hypothesis. D. Dependent hypothesis. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Null hypothesis. Explanation. In hypothesis testing, researchers aim to reject the null hypothesis to demonstrate a statistically significant relationship or effect. 15. Which of the following is a critical factor in assessing risk? A. Validity. B. Probability of occurrence. C. Desirability. D. Previous experience. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Probability of occurrence. Explanation. Risk is often quantified by the likelihood of an event happening, with the probability of occurrence serving as a key factor in assessing risk. 16. Which of these is a commonly used technique for visualizing all possible outcomes of two events in probability? A. Scatter plot. B. Histogram. C. Venn diagram. D. Trend line. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Venn diagram. Explanation. Venn diagrams visually represent relationships and intersections between two sets, making it easier to understand combined probabilities. 17. What term describes a pattern in data that tends to repeat every few years? A. Seasonal trend. B. Random trend. C. Cyclical trend. D. Stationary time series. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Cyclical trend. Explanation. A cyclical trend repeats over multi-year periods and is typically associated with broader economic cycles or other long-term factors. 18. Which of the following is used to calculate a moving average? A. Add the values of all data points. B. Sum a set number of data points and divide by the number. C. Subtract the mean from each data point. D. Average the maximum and minimum values. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Sum a set number of data points and divide by the number. Explanation. A moving average smooths data by averaging a specific number of sequential data points, helping to highlight trends. 19. Which chart should be used to display the relative frequency distribution of quantitative data? A. Pie chart. B. Bar chart. C. Histogram. D. Scatter plot. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Histogram. Explanation. Histograms show frequency distributions for quantitative data by displaying data intervals and frequencies in a clear graphical format. 20. If a company wants to visualize the percentage contribution of various categories to the whole, which chart would be most appropriate? A. Bar chart. B. Histogram. C. Pie chart. D. Scatter plot. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Pie chart. Explanation. Pie charts are effective for showing how each component's value contributes to the total, represented as percentages of a whole. 21. What type of decision involves unknown probabilities for each possible outcome? A. Decision under certainty. B. Decision under risk. C. Decision under uncertainty. D. Decision under control. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. decision under uncertainty. Explanation: decisions under uncertainty lack probability information, requiring the decision maker to operate without knowledge of likely outcomes. 22. In a multiple criteria decision-making process, what are the two common methods for evaluating alternatives? A. Ranking and rating. B. Scaling and weighting. C. Clustering and sampling. D. Modeling and prototyping. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: A. Ranking and rating. Explanation: ranking orders alternatives by preference, while rating assigns numeric scores, providing structured evaluation methods in decision-making. 23. Which statistical method seeks to maximize or minimize a specific quantity, such as cost or profit, subject to constraints? A. Decision tree analysis. B. Linear programming. C. Network diagram. D. Beta distribution method. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Linear programming. Explanation: linear programming optimizes a target quantity within defined constraints, commonly used to balance costs and maximize resource efficiency. 24. Which approach to probability assigns a value based on past occurrences and observed frequency? A. Subjective probability. B. Relative frequency approach. C. Conditional probability. D. Empirical analysis. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Relative frequency approach. Explanation: the relative frequency approach assigns probability by dividing the occurrence of an event by the total number of observations, reflecting historical data. 25. Which variable represents the output or effect in a cause and effect relationship? A. Independent variable. B. Mediating variable. C. Dependent variable. D. Moderating variable. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Dependent variable. Explanation: the dependent variable is influenced by changes in the independent variable, making it the outcome or effect in a causal model. 26. In project management, which chart is commonly used to display tasks, their durations and dependencies between them? A. Scatter plot. B. Gantt chart. C. Fishbone diagram. D. Histogram. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Gantt chart. Explanation: Gantt charts are widely used in project management to outline task timelines, durations, and linkages, aiding in visual project scheduling. 27. A retail company wants to minimize the combined costs of ordering and holding inventory. Which inventory management model is best suited to this goal? A. Linear programming. B. Economic order. Quantity, EOQ. C. Decision tree analysis. D. Critical path method. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Economic order. Quantity, EOQ. Explanation: the EOQ model calculates the optimal order quantity to minimize total inventory costs, balancing ordering and holding costs for efficiency. 28. If there are multiple paths in a project schedule, which path determines the minimum project completion time? A. Network path. B. Primary path. C. Linear path. D. Critical path. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: D. Critical path. Explanation: The critical path represents the longest sequence of tasks without slack, determining the shortest possible project duration if completed on time. 29. Which of the following best defines a decision under certainty? A. Decision made with known risks but unknown probabilities. B. Decision made with unknown outcomes and probabilities. C. Decision made with known outcomes and exact information. D. Decision made with partial information and estimated risks. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Decision made with known outcomes and exact information. Explanation. A decision under certainty is made when outcomes are fully known, allowing decision-makers to proceed without ambiguity. 30. In project management, which term describes a task that must be completed before another task can start? A. Successor. B. Dependency. C. Predecessor. D. Critical path task. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Predecessor. Explanation. A predecessor task must be completed before the next task begins, establishing a sequence for task dependencies in project scheduling. Struggling with your WGU exams? We've all been there. Welcome to OAExams.com, your ultimate resource for WGU success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 active WGU students and an impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit OAExams.com today and take the first step toward guaranteed success. 31. What statistical method involves examining patterns and relationships within a sample to make inferences about a larger population? A. Descriptive statistics. B. Predictive analysis. C. Inferential statistics. D. Regression analysis. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Inferential statistics. Explanation. Inferential statistics allows conclusions and generalizations to be made about a population based on data from a sample. 32. Which of the following analysis methods would help a manager understand how sensitive a decision outcome is to changes in underlying assumptions? A. Expected value analysis. B. A sensitivity analysis. C. Regression analysis. D. Quantitative analysis. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Sensitivity analysis. Explanation. Sensitivity analysis assesses the impact of varying key assumptions or variables, helping managers evaluate the robustness of a decision outcome. 33. What is the primary objective of a 𝗓𝗂𝗋 criterion in decision-making? A. Maximize the best possible outcome. B. Minimize the worst possible loss. C. Maximize average profits. D. Minimize variability. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Minimize the worst possible loss. Explanation. The 𝗓𝗂𝗋 criterion is a conservative approach that seeks to minimize the worst loss, prioritizing security over potential gain. 34. What is a state of nature in the context of decision analysis? A. A possible outcome controlled by the decision maker. B. A chosen alternative in a payoff table. C. A potential outcome outside the decision maker's control. D. A decision point requiring analysis. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. A potential outcome outside the decision maker's control. Explanation. In decision analysis, a state of nature refers to an outcome influenced by external factors beyond the decision maker's control, like economic conditions. 35. Which probability method is used when an event's likelihood is estimated based on opinions or past experiences rather than calculated probability? A. Objective probability. B. Relative frequency. C. Subjective probability. D. Conditional probability. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Subjective probability. Explanation. Subjective probability relies on personal judgment or experience to estimate the likelihood of an event, often used in uncertain conditions. 36. In a decision-making context, what does the expected monetary value, EMV calculation represent? A. Total profit from all possible outcomes. B. Probability weighted average of possible outcomes. C. Maximum achievable profit in the best-case scenario. D. Sum of all possible monetary gains. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Probability weighted average of possible outcomes. Explanation. EMV calculates a weighted average of outcomes based on probabilities, offering a balanced expectation of monetary value for decision analysis. 37. Which type of trend describes data movements that appear randomly and unpredictably over time? A. Seasonal trend. B. Cyclical trend. C. Random trend. D. Moving average. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Random trend. Explanation. Random trends fluctuate unpredictably, lacking consistent patterns, and are difficult to forecast due to their irregular nature. 38. What statistical measure indicates the average distance between each data point and the mean of the data set? A. Variance. B. Mode. C. Range. D. Standard deviation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. D. Standard deviation. Explanation. Standard deviation measures the dispersion of data points around the mean, indicating the spread or variability within a dataset. 39. In probability, what is the union of two events? A. Probability that both events occur simultaneously. B. Probability that at least one of the events will happen. C. Probability that only one event will happen. D. Probability of no event happening. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Probability that at least one of the events will happen. Explanation. The union of two events represents the likelihood of either event occurring, encompassing all possibilities where at least one happens. 40. What does a scatter plot primarily show in data analysis? A. The correlation between two variables. B. Frequency distribution of variables. C. Relationship between categories. D. Predicted outcomes over time. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. The correlation between two variables. Explanation. Scatter. Plots visualize the relationship between two variables, helping to reveal trends, patterns, or correlations in paired data. 41. Which sampling method divides a population into natural clusters and then selects items from each cluster? A. Random sampling. B. Systematic sampling. C. Convenience sampling. D. Stratified sampling. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. D. Stratified sampling. Explanation. Stratified sampling organizes a population by clusters, drawing items from each to ensure all groups are represented in the sample. 42. In project management, which tool is used to calculate the longest sequence of tasks that determines a project's minimum completion time? A. Gantt chart. B. Critical path method, CPM. C. Fishbone diagram. D. Decision tree. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Critical path method, CPM. Explanation. The critical path method, CPM, identifies the longest path of tasks without slack, defining the minimum project completion time. 43. Which model applies 3 different time estimates, optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely, to estimate a task's duration? A. Decision tree. B. Gantt chart. C. Beta distribution method. D. EOQ model. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Beta distribution method. Explanation. The beta distribution method averages optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely time estimates to predict task durations more accurately. 44. Which graph is best used for showing the proportion of categories within a single data set? A. Bar chart. B. Line graph. C. Histogram. D. Pie chart. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. D. Pie chart. Explanation. Pie charts display percentage distributions for a data set, visually representing the parts of a whole. 45. When considering the expected value in a decision tree, what does it represent? A. The total profit possible from all outcomes. B. A weighted average of possible outcomes based on probability. C. The highest possible gain from a decision. D. The lowest risk alternative. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. A weighted average of possible outcomes based on probability. Explanation. Expected value in decision trees is a probability-weighted average, balancing the likelihood and value of outcomes for better decision-making. 46. Which of the following is primarily used to optimize resources within defined constraints, commonly maximizing profits or minimizing costs? A. Gantt chart. B. Linear programming. C. Decision tree. D. Fishbone diagram. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Linear programming. Explanation. Linear programming is an optimization method used to achieve the best outcome within constraints, such as profit maximization or cost minimization. 47. What type of trend in data represents a regular, repeating pattern over specific intervals, such as quarterly sales peaks? A. Cyclical trend. B. Seasonal trend. C. Random trend. D. Moving average. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Seasonal trend. Explanation. Seasonal trends are predictable patterns that recur at regular intervals, influenced by factors like seasons or cycles in business activity. 48. In hypothesis testing, what does the null hypothesis, H0, represent? A. An assumption of a relationship between variables. B. A prediction about dependent variables. C. A statement asserting no relationship between variables. D. An untestable assumption. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. A statement asserting no relationship between variables. Explanation. The null hypothesis posits no relationship or effect between variables, serving as a baseline for testing and statistical analysis. 49. What is the term for the subset of a population used to make inferences about the entire population? A. Dataset. B. Population. C. Sample. D. Control group. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Sample. Explanation. A sample is a smaller, representative portion of a population used in studies to draw inferences about the whole group. 50. Which decision criterion aims to maximize the smallest gain or minimize the largest loss, often used in conservative decision-making? A. Maximax criterion. B. Maximin criterion. C. Expected value criterion. D. Minimax criterion. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Maximin criterion. Explanation. The Maximin criterion focuses on securing the best of the worst possible outcomes, a conservative approach minimizing potential losses. You've reached the end of our first question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at OAExams.com, where you'll find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. Thanks for studying with us today. See you in the next video.